My name's Dale Little here in Chesnadilla, Romania. Um, in the background, you see the fortified church of Chesnadilla, and you see, before I raised it up there, the church has a wall all the way around it. Like I say, it's a fortified church. Most churches over here had those fortifications to keep the enemy from coming in, and there's ways of protection. And so, there's walls everywhere. Always has been from early times. Jerusalem had a wall. Nehemiah rebuilt it. God gave him the order to do that. But I want to talk about something a little different. That's not subject matter today. Most of you know me, know that I don't normally, and I never enjoy really calling out people, individuals. I talk about sin. I talk about things that are wrong, commend things that are right. I preach the gospel, but every once in a while I think it's necessary. And so I just yesterday, I think it was, that Christianity Today, Mark Galli, the editor there and chief editor, asked for the removal of President Trump, recommended that he be removed from office to go along with the ungodly left, Democrats in Congress, who have been trying to get rid of him ever since he beat their favorite candidate back in this 2016 election. And so just look at some things here. This is totally uncalled for. Mark Galli, let me just say that you're the one that needs to resign. You're the one that needs to step down, not our President Trump. You talk about the facts in this instance are unambiguous. There's much debate about that. That's just the talking points of the Democratic majority and the Congress that say that there's no question. You're just mimicking Nancy Pelosi's same things she's been saying. You said the President of the United States attempted to use his political power to coerce a foreign leader to harass and discredit one of the President's political opponents. That is not only a violation of the Constitution, more importantly, it's profoundly immoral. Mr. Galli, it's the President's job. He is the chief enforcer of the law. There's three areas of government, and you need to look into that and check out the Constitution. There's legislative branch, there's executive branch, and those are two involved here. Then there's a judicial branch. And so what the president was charged with was not that. There's nothing in the charges that relate to this. They're obstruction of Congress, and I forget the other one. It's really just as ambiguous. Abuse of power. Both of them are very ambiguous and make no specific charges. They tried to make their case, they couldn't make it, and they still can't make it. And here you're siding with these people. You say the reason many are not shocked about this is that this president has dumbed down the idea of morality in his administration. He has hired and fired a number of people who are now convicted criminals. Most of those people who are convicted criminals are probably going to be exonerated when everything is said and done. After all the investigations are done, they're not finished yet. Bill Barr is now working on some things, and he's going to have some criminal investigations and criminal authority to bring those violations. I think you better wait until he gets done with, and it may take a while, but you may need to wait until he gets done with his investigations and to see what really happened. Already these abuses are coming out. How can you not be aware of these things? I just don't know unless all you do is watch CNN and MSNBC, these fake news channels that have been proven fake over and over again and accuse everybody else of being fake news. You talk about he himself has admitted to immoral actions in business and leadership of women, about which he remains proud. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that pride. He remains proud. I don't know where you're getting that from. His Twitter, yeah, I know that his Twitter things are issue because Mika Brzezinski made a statement that early on when he first started doing his tweets when he was elected that that was not his job. They didn't like it because he's tweeting directly to the American people. And she said, he's trying to tell people how to think, and that's not his job, that's our job. So I suppose you think it's your job too. And so you talk about his string of mischaracterization, lies, and slanders. Boy, you're siding with the same people on the left who are known for slander. Look at what they did to Judge Kavanaugh. Look at what they've done to Judge Roy Moore. To any political candidate, they've done the same thing to President Trump. It just didn't work. And so you say that President Trump abused his authority for personal gain. What kind of personal gain has he made out of it? I'd like to ask. Looks to me like he's really benefited this country. Maybe you need to look at the economy and see all the things that he's done. And you've named some of those things in your article, in your editorial. But you say none of the president's positive can balance the moral and political danger we face under a leader of such grossly immoral character. To the many evangelicals who continue to support Mr. Trump in spite of his blackened moral code, we might say this: remember who you are and whom you serve. Well, Mr. Galli, let me tell you something. I know who I serve. Maybe you need to find out who you serve. Maybe you need to see who you're serving. I remember quite well who I serve, and I know who I serve. And I still can support our president. Consider how your justification, this again is your words, of Mr. Trump influences your witness to your Lord and Savior. Consider what an unbelieving world would say if you continued to brush off Mr. Trump's immoral words and behavior and cause of political expediency. Mr. Galli, you are as vague as all of President Trump's godless accusers on the left. What immoral words and behavior are you talking about? You name none. You don't say it. You just make these vague accusations like everybody else. You talk about the past. What about the past? The past is the past, unless you're one of these that, you want all your past things in the past, but you want to bring everybody else's up, especially if they're not the right political frame that you are in. Now here's where you show your true colors, Mr. Galli. Just like the rest of the Democrats in Congress, you've been against this president from the time before he took office and have just been waiting for a good place to make your disdain public. Here's where you really show your bias. You never refer to our president as President Trump, but it's always Mr. Trump. You have never accepted his win over whoever your favorite was. Shame on you. You need to go back and read up on King Jehu. Jehu makes Trump look like a perfect example to someone to look up to. Who gave the instructions to anoint Jehu as king? Go back and read it. God did. God told Elijah, first of all, to go anoint Jehu as king. Then he told Elisha. And Elisha sent one of his prophets and had him anointed as king under the orders of God himself. Because it took someone like Jehu to clean up the ungodly mess that's left by Ahab and Jezebel. As a matter of fact, he still had to take care of Jezebel herself because she was still there in power. So she was still an influence. But he had to clean up that mess. And I think President Trump's the only one that's able to do that here in this country with the mess that we've been left with all the corruption and things that's been done in the past. What about Nebuchadnezzar? He was a wicked king, but it was God who put him there where he was, and Daniel served faithfully under him. It's easy to see a certain respect they had for one another. Nebuchadnezzar was far worse than Donald Trump has ever been. Donald Trump's sins are nothing compared to the deep state he is about to undo and uncover. By the time Bill Barr gets to the bottom of the corruption and evil of the deep state, you will be the one left looking very unchristian. You and others who have turned and looked the other way as innocent people were railroaded by the past administration. You'll be the ones left having any Christian influence lacking. You'll be the ones that will not have any influence on the culture. You're already at that place. And then you say, and now here's where you say, as I saw earlier, we have reserved judgment on Mr. Trump. Not President Trump. You can't even address him as president. You never have you? But it's Mr. Trump for years now. Some have criticized us for our reserve, but when it comes to condemning the behavior of another patient, charity must come first. So we have done our best to give evangelical Trump supporters their due, to try to understand their point of view, to see the prudential nature of so many political decisions they have made regarding, here again, Mr. Trump. He's not Mr. Trump. He's President Trump. He's President Trump. He used to be Mr. Trump. Now he's President Trump. But you can't handle that, can you? To use an old cliche, it's time to call a spade a spade. Say that no matter how many hands we win in this political poker game, we're playing with a stacked deck of gross immorality and ethical incompetence. And just when we think it's time to push all of our chips to the center of the table, that's when the whole game will come crashing down. You're right. It will. Just wait. And you'll be the one with egg on your face when it gets done. Mr. Galli, again, I don't think the president's job is to step down. It's not time to impeach the president. I think it's time for you to step down. You've lost all manner of influence, and you've discredited yourself by coming against this president amidst all this deep state corruption that he's trying to get rid of. So maybe you need to consider just stepping down, or either getting right with God, one or the other, they're little.